Welcome to the Nate and Dorin podcast. We are professional videographers based in Vancouver, Canada, and we are here to talk about relevant topics within the video and media industry. I'm Nate, and I run Nate Dixon Media.
And I am Dorin, a solo entrepreneur offering video production services. And today we are going to react to an award-winning short film called Curve. It is a disturbing horror short film. I feel like that's redundant. Disturbing horror. Is there a like romantic horror or something?
A heartwarming horror.
Oh yeah. So, for those of you listening, yeah, you gotta watch video for this one, or you can just listen to us react to a blank screen in front of you. Or
Well,
you
you
can
can
look at
hear it.
whatever. Yeah, you can hear it.
Might be creepy that way.
Well, I've seen this,
Yeah, I have
and
not seen this.
you have not seen this.
No.
So, once we watch this, you'll realize that hearing isn't gonna work either for
Oh,
this.
okay.
But the reason, like, this just showed up randomly in my recommended, and I clicked it, and I couldn't click away. I was so immersed, and I've never been captivated and this like tense before watching a short film. It's so well done, and it made me feel like if I actually put my brain to do something like this, I could. But man, what a stroke of genius to do something like this. Anyway, enough hyping it up. We're gonna watch it, and it's gonna be Nate's first time seeing it reaction.
All right. I'll try my best not to pause it. I'll try and watch it all the way through. But I tend to like horror movies and thrillers, so I'm looking forward to this.
It's definitely not jump scare horror. It's more of a suspenseful thriller, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. Jump scares are cheap. Once in a
Yeah.
while is good, but too many,
Mm-hmm.
it's a crutch. All right. You ready, Doran?
I am.
All right. Here we go.
Produced by Lodestone Films from Australia.
Ah, the wave is curving. I get it now.
Mm-hmm. So the introduction elements is just minimalistic. There's no dialogue, there's no nothing. We're just getting some close-ups and some vague shots of some waves. Building the suspense. It looks like she's sleeping. Oh. That's the curve.
Ah.
It's a concrete wall.
Oh, someone with a flute's down there.
One of those Ninja Turtles, maybe?
And I notice her hair looks slightly wet. She got washed down there.
Okay. Even though I've seen this, that gave me goosebumps. Sound design, pretty good.
Oh, yeah. That reminded me to breathe.
Hmm. I feel like each shot composition is so thought out. Like she was withdrawing her leg, but most of the frame was the emptiness that she's trying to get away from.
Hmm.
And I think she's doing a terrific job of acting.
Ah.
No story, no context. But I feel like I want her to not slide in there. I'm already emotionally invested in her being okay, and I don't even know her. Oh, and her legs twisted.
Oh.
And that's
Ooh.
more bloody than before, probably from slipping.
Hmm. Yummy corn syrup.
Even this shot, it's vertical and it makes me so like anxious that she's already falling. She's trying to play the flute too, but she doesn't have a flute.
She's trying to answer the call.
We're breaking immersion so good. I love it.
Go watch the original video if you want the
Yeah.
untampered with version.
Yeah. There's a lot of like macro shots or close-up shots of like every element of her that is struggling with this. Like there's no comfortable part of her. Everything's like struggling and tense to not slip. Like she doesn't even have a monologue, like how did I get here, what happened, or any flashbacks. This is what typical movies would do, right? You
Mm.
don't need that. This is a complete minimalistic, less is more approach. She's looking across on the other side and seeing someone else went through the same thing. So because there's no dialogue, there's not much for people to hear and understand. Now you get it.
Yeah.
This is very
Listen
similar
to
to
us
the...
listen to heavy breathing.
Yes. And to crack weird jokes. This reminds me a lot of what's that movie? 127 Hours?
Yeah, James Franco.
Mm-hmm. That had more context and narrative elements.
And flashbacks.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, which help you emotionally connect with the character a bit more. Like, who knows? Maybe she's a bad person and she tried to run away from someone after doing something bad and she deserves to be here. I don't know. But I still want her to...
As a videographer, I can't help but see in her eyes the little circular
lights,
reflections, the lights.
I'm pretty sure they green screened this and then film, or at least built a set and didn't film on an actual location.
Sounds like zombies or something in the background there.
And the music
Oh.
or the ambient
Uh-oh.
sound goes quiet. Oh shoot, it's gonna rain, she's gonna slip. Oh no. I forgot about this part. If you're wondering how can this be suspenseful for 9 minutes, this is how they add more stuff. See, this is brilliant. I like this. This is an easy and effective way to do this. All you need is
Uh,
one little prop wall and an actor, and that's it. What's the 10 steps of like accepting your fate? Struggling, fighting, denial,
Bargaining, acceptance.
yeah, anger, and now, yeah.
Oh man.
Okay, extra grip,
Yeah.
just like those snow tires,
Yeah.
snow
She's
chains.
like a trucker with the chains on the
Yeah.
tires.
Oh,
Uh-oh. Okay.
and that's the end. Wait, has
Don't
it been
know.
9 minutes? No way.
Yeah, nine and a
Holy
half
cow, that was
minutes.
9 minutes? It felt like three. This
Yeah.
was my exact reaction the first time I watched it. I'm like, no, did not just end it with her not being there anymore.
Yeah.
Go back to that end slide. Do you see like a blood trail? Like, did she slip, or is that you don't see
Oops.
a blood trail on either side?
No. Because, well, the water
Or
would have washed it away, right?
oh, yeah, Nate.
You know?
Man, that was in 9 minutes and 50 seconds.
Hmm.
What is your first impression, Nate?
My first impression is the sound was so good.
Mm-hmm.
All the little slips, creaks, and then like the distant screams and explosions. It just gets your brain thinking like, oh, what happened here? What's
Mm-hmm.
what's the context? Because like you say, there's no dialogue, there's no flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
It's just her there. Yeah, that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice.
Yeah, I definitely liked everything about this. I'm trying to think, is there anything that I can criticize at this point? And
I
I
feel
think
like
the only thing I can say is sometimes they did some close-ups and macro shots of something that wasn't, at least I didn't understand the relevance, like when she puts all five fingers on the wall behind her. Like she wasn't slipping and she wasn't putting tension, she was just resting her hand there almost. I thought like, now you're just I don't know. If you wanted to show some details of her hands or the condition of their hands, I didn't think that was a good angle. A few
mm,
of the angles, like 3% of the angles. Okay, two cuts out of this entire like 9 minute thing. I'd be like, I would use a different shot. Like that's how impressed I am by this. I
mm-hmm.
tried to look up uh like what's their budget, what was their crew, what was their the only thing I could find is the fact that this is done in 2016 in Australia by Tim Egan.
Mm. Props to him.
Hmm.
It's really
Well,
cool.
what would you were about to say? You were like, what would you have done differently or criticize a little bit here? Constructive
I was
criticism.
gonna say I was kind of off put by the sudden silences where it was he had like noise and then it was just like goosh, complete silence. Like for the happened
Hmm.
with the raindrop. I think
Yeah.
at the title card had that where it's just kind of like cuts off really jarring. I
Hmm.
think he's doing it just to be different and to like, oh whoa, this is different. Oh, that was jarring. But none of the cutting really felt like it was going for that jarring feel. It all kind of made sense and flowed. So that was a little bit off putting to me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think I was reading a couple of critics, and they were saying the start with the waves seems very misplaced. Um, uh, uh, from rewatching it now, I would just associate that with it looked like she was kind of dreaming, so maybe she was just dreaming about that.
Well, I thought the waves were there to establish that there was like a tsunami and she got washed into this concrete culvert or whatever it's called where the water like drains down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I thought
Yeah,
the waves
could
like
be.
established why how she got there.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I interpreted it.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Because this is the interesting thing, by the fact that nothing specific was written, or maybe it was, but it's hidden and you have to dig it out. Now this gave you so much to talk about. What I thought the first time around, and a little bit now the second time around, when she looks over on the other side and sees a bloody mess from someone struggling as well, that makes me think this is a systematic thing. This is somebody is intentionally dumping people here alive and letting them like I don't know. It's a form of physical and mental torture, I guess you could say, like
Mm,
watching them try and escape, but it's an inevitable doom for them. That's as much story as I got from that.
yeah. Okay. Did you ever watch any of the Saw movies?
Probably a long time ago.
Yeah, same kind of idea where it's one of those they put a person gets put in an impossible situation where they basically slim chance of survival. Maybe they're kind of tipping their hat to that franchise in how
Is
they've
it
it
the
set up.
one? Is it the one where it's like, let's play a game or something like that, and like the only way to escape this room is by cutting your leg off? Is it that thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I know
Jigsaw is
what
the
you're
main
talking about.
villain. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I get some of those vibes too, yeah, kinda. Um, do you see yourself if you wanted to dedicate yourself to do something like this? Do you see yourself doing something like this? Do you think this was very hard to do?
I think I would need more film school to get myself up to this level of storytelling. So
Mm,
I think I would need those. And then of course I need someone like Drew. Check out our last episode to learn
mhm,
more about Drew Stapleton. I would need somebody like him to help me record the audio, mix the audio to get it so immersive with no speaking, just breathing, scraping, and like ambient noises from far away, trying to give you clues of
mhm.
what's going on. So no, I don't think I'd be at this level, man. This is really good.
Yeah, I can kinda understand what you're saying, but, like, I meant more in terms of crew. Like, you only need 1 actor.
Mm,
Location could be very simple set design. Sound can be just done like, because it's also a 9-minute short, it doesn't involve so many elements in order to deliver this. And
mm,
actually, I have a little mini interview. This is what I was able to find. Somebody talking to Lodestone Films, Tim Egan. Um, so it won Best Short award for both Fantastic Fest and Sitges in 2016. It's a dark, minimalistic, truly unsettling film. Simple in premise, but immeasurable in impact. Prepare yourselves. Blah blah blah. It said it took just 8 hours to write.
okay.
From
With
first
no
concept,
dialogue.
from first con well, concept to shooting script. So like
Okay,
positioning, angles, what are you
sure.
focusing on? You know, like all these
Like a
little details.
sure.
And I didn't feel like it had too many long takes on anything. There were a lot of short, quick succession, especially when she was slipping and struggling. And that's why it made it feel like 9 minutes flew by. Did you have that sensation? Did you actually feel the 9 minutes, or did you feel like, wow, that felt
Felt
short compared to how long it actually is?
yeah, definitely felt way shorter.
So that's concrete flow.
Oh, I see
That's
what you
like,
did there. Concrete flow. Nice.
oh yeah, because curve, yeah, behind her. So yeah, it took 8 hours to write from first concept to shooting script. Curve was inspired by two key moments in the director's life. The first being hit by a car, and the second a conversation with a depressed friend. And they say, I still remember the feeling of the wet tarmac under my fingers. Egan recalls when describing his lucky escape after being knocked into the center lane of busy traffic, where he
Oof.
gripped the asphalt, preparing to be struck by a second car in a matter of seconds. Whilst the first experience was an undeniable physical one, the second influencing experience was a more mental one. So his friend, she said the earth opened up beneath her and the rest of her day was simply about holding on by sheer force of tension.
Wow.
Describing a conversation he had with a struggling friend with grief, she explained that the only good moments on her day, uh, of her day, being the seconds after she woke up. Egan
Mm.
obviously had some more symbolic intentions coursing under the surface of his Curve short film. Her mind was clear and at peace for a few seconds before she remembered her pain. See, I feel like he brought that out pretty good. Like the establishing shots, she wakes up and then she slips, realizes where she's at, and then starts like examining and feeling her body. I thought that was very good visual storytelling.
Mm.
Because if you just show them struggling, you wouldn't identify with the struggle as much if you didn't know like, oh, her fingers are like bloody and cold and her legs twisted and all these little elements that you zoom in on, like her shoes are scuffed, so she like probably took a few hits to the legs.
Hmm. So, do you think this might be just like a physical manifestation of the way she's feeling? This didn't actually happen. This is like she's playing this out in her mind. At like this is representing her depression. She feels trapped.
Could be. And trying to grasp reality and slipping and being in a inexplainable impossible situation and not even knowing how did you get here, which is also a factor of how am I going to get out if you don't even know how you even got there. So I could kind
Mm.
of really identify with the deeper symbolism there if you want to look for it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. It's impressive for a film less than 10 minutes long to be so thought provoking.
And it looks great. It looks very cinematic. Color tone wise, it's very like neutral and kind of gray and dark a little bit, but also like it's got some overcast k- look to it, you know, which matches the weather elements that were introduced, the rain at the end.
Hmm. Some good
Um,
real rain.
yeah, the rain looked pretty good. Um, yeah, and as other people I saw in the YouTube comments and critics were saying, I want to see a full film about this. I want to know. I want to know everything. I want to see what happens. I don't care if even if it ends with her plummeting down there after struggling for 2 hours. I want to see that because if this 10 minutes was so good, I'd want to see more of it.
Mm.
But I don't think the guy does this. Also, not to be confused with Curve the movie in 2015, which is different. That curve is referring to the curve in the road, and the car flies off, and the lady's stuck with some psycho guy.
Oh,
Th-
okay.
That's different.
Yeah.
I thought this would be a like an imitation of that, but then I looked at the movie trailer for that. And it wasn't that. So people might be looking up like, "Ooh, let's see this curve video they're talking about," and the movie is different.
Yeah.
What going into this? What surprised you the most? Seeing how this is a
Surprise.
short film done by like an indie crew, let's say. What exceeded your expectations besides like sound design, which you've touched on?
Ah, yeah, dude. I can't get over the sound design. How good it
I
is.
guess that was your favorite part, eh?
Yeah, that was definitely my favorite part.
Mm-hmm.
The acting would probably be my second favorite part.
I
It really
agree.
felt like she was laboring and hurting
Yeah,
with the corn
that
syrup on her hands.
that scream was very believable. The one big scream she did.
Mm-hmm. and the breathing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even do it. I'm not a real actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know,
What was
man.
the
Just
thing that impressed you the most, Doran?
um, like besides everything else that you mentioned, the fact that this is done like the fact that this is so immersive for a short film, and I've seen his short films before, and they look like short films. This doesn't look like a short film. This looks better than some thrillers that are out in theaters right now. That's another thing critics were saying. Um, like that blew me away. I'm a big immersion guy. If I play a video game or if I watch a movie, if you manage to get me immersed, I don't care how you do it, and I don't care if it has a million flaws. If I'm there feeling the story, I think that's the biggest win a director can have.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah. So overall, that's the most impressive thing. I did not expect. Yeah, I expected some good sound design, some good this. It's an award-winning short film. I had higher expectations, and it met and exceeded a little bit those. But I did not expect it to be a minimalistic, immersive story. That just I like if I compared this to 127 hours, if this would be made into a full 90-minute film in this style and the tension and the storytelling would continue, obviously maybe they're not going to do no dialogue for an hour and, but if they
Yeah.
would try and do like flashbacks and build the story around this person, I think this would be more entertaining than 127 hours. The 127 hours once seemed very kind of warm and more like, oh, I feel sorry for the guy. Like, oh, it's just a guy and he was trying to explore and whatever. Here, you could go like there's so many ways that this could go. It looks like I'm definitely getting a sinister vibe here, just
Mm,
by the blood splat on the other side and this location. This is I don't think this is oh she was out jogging and she slept. It doesn't look like that at all.
mm. I
It
think
doesn't
though,
sound like it.
if they fleshed it out into a full length movie, I think it would lose a lot of the unknown, which makes it so engaging, right? It makes you think, oh, there was a person on the other side. Oh, how'd she get here? The flashbacks and everything would kind of explain all that and take away a bit of the mystery.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it in a more mysterious way. But my point was they would have to do something. They can't just continue this
Can't just have her like slipping
for
and inching up for
f-
an hour.
for 90 minutes because it would be it could be immersive and tension filled, but because it's such a long time, I think that the audience will overall not appreciate that. Like being tense for 10 minutes, 15 minutes is good. But if I watch something and it keeps me tense and nail biting for an hour, I don't know, that would affect my mood for the whole day. That would not be good.
I watched Gravity, and that was very immersive. And that one, when the
Mhm.
movie ended, I just like could finally let out a breath. I was like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
it's done.
Mhm.
Yeah, so there's some movies that really do that to you that are like 90
Mhm.
minutes.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah, but even in those movies, they have quiet moments and tender moments and little moments of hope that bring you up and down, up and down. They don't keep you up the whole time.
I think Gravity kept me up the whole time. It just things kept spiraling
Gravity's
out of
with
control.
Sandra Bullock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, no, it's got like it's good, but it's got some like I said, it's got some moments where it's like quiet
Mm,
down and oh, she's having a conversation. Oh, she's remembering her kid.
sure.
Um, whereas this is just like it kind of if okay, we're going in like the deepest onion layer of like mental human psyche and all that, but it's a weird thing that most humans have of like this is a horrible situation and it doesn't look like she's gonna make it, so might as well just look away. But you don't want to look away; you want to see what happens because it's just I don't know, curiosity or morbidity. I don't know what you want to call it. This is fascinating, just like reality TV show. What do people want to see other people fight? Don't you have enough drama in your own life? People, I don't know. people find it fascinating to see other stories that are maybe possibly worse than their real life stories. And it's easier to deal with that than your own stuff.
True.
Yeah. We should, dude,
What is it, Dorin?
actually, because there is a huge branch of like the kind of the psychology of movies and narrative, and even advertisements do a lot of subliminal, subconscious stuff. Movies obviously do that too. We should see if we can get what do you call it, like a psychiatrist or like
Psychologist?
a psychologist, yeah,
Yeah.
a behavioral kind of expert to kind of give us some tips and tricks that maybe we haven't even picked up on in movies.
Okay.
Like I know some of the basic stuff, like the specific angle, the specific focus, the lighting, the mood. Like we know all of these elements from a visual, but from a body language, like her body language seemed pretty solid to me. Maybe there were a few times where I would have expected her to be in a bit more like shivering. Like if her hands were cold, I would have seen like to see her shivering, right? But we didn't see that, and that could have been another element. Like she can't, she's trying to stop shivering, and she can't because she's cold, and the shivering is making her lose grip. See that? There you go. That's another 5 minutes right there.
I don't know if you could drag this thing out much longer without you needing to add in those beats that change it up,
Yeah.
right?
No, but yeah, but I mean, that was my point for her body language, right?
Mm.
Or for her continuity within the story. Like, okay, if her hands are like she can barely move them,
Yeah, you
okay,
can see her like struggling to flex her hand. Like once it started raining, I was hoping it would keep going. I was like,
yeah,
oh, there's more time, and maybe she'll slowly start slipping. She'll wash the blood off her hands and try again. But
yeah,
yeah, it just kind of like boom, done. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, that was sudden.
And actually, now that I think about it, but again, because the story is not given, not even written somewhere, I don't know if it's intentional or not. You know, when you're freezing, your body's desperately trying to shiver, to contract your muscles to make heat. If your body temperature drops below a certain point, your body stops with the shivering and it kind of accepts, like, okay, we're going down.
hmm
Maybe she was at that point already. I don't know.
Maybe. I think
She
if it was that cold, we
looks
would have been
pale.
able to see her breath when she exhales.
Mm.
That could be another thing. Like on The Exorcist, they filmed the room basically in a fridge so that you could see the breath coming off, because like the demon girl made the room so cold.
Right, right.
It'd be
Yeah, yeah.
fun if they did that if she was like in a really cold spot. But then I guess it might be snow instead of rain, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, depends. Oh man. Very, very I don't know. Very cool.
Curve. Yeah,
Curve.
that's very cool. Yeah, thank you for showing that to me, Dorin.
Right on, Nate. Let's do a short film. I want to do one. Like I don't know. I just am waiting for life to calm down in a lot of areas for me to focus on something like this. I would love to produce something like this. I feel like I would like to experiment with my director creative storytelling side, you know?
Hmm.
Maybe not to something of this extent where I need a sound guy and I also need a makeup or whatever, you know what I mean? Like I would see what's the most I can do solo, and I want to
Hmm.
push myself to that limit.
Wait, you do
Maybe
have still have an actor though, right? You're not like filming yourself, like Blair Witch Project.
yeah, I would have to use an actor, and I would have
Okay,
to see what's the most efficient story that I can come up with that would take the minimum amount of prep for the actor.
like no
Um,
dialogue, like this one.
no dialogue is huge. I
Hmm.
would be, yes, I would be very inclined to do a no dialogue or yeah, a lot of visual storytelling. If I were to make my first short film, which would not be 9 minutes, I would see if I can make a 3 minute thing. Oh
There's a
man.
movie I'm trying to look up that you might like.
Hmm.
It's called Lock with an E at the end. So Locke. Have you heard of that one?
Sounds very familiar.
Tom Hardy, and the whole movie takes place entirely with him in his car making phone calls. That's how you get all the story.
Okay, that sounds even familiar now. Okay, I do not recognize this actually. I might have seen a trailer for this.
Hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's another one of those movies that takes place in just one spot. He's doing one thing, but you're captivated because you're like, oh, who's he talking to now? What's going on? He's talking to
Right.
his family, his work, whatever. You're trying to sort out what's going on. So
Mm-hmm.
that's another cool like creative constraint they've had. He
Mm-hmm.
stays in the car the whole time, but you really get wrapped up in the story.
Mm-hmm. See, I feel like that's kind of a golden ticket to making something memorable is doing something that is like out outside of the box a little bit. That's the keyword you use, constrained. Like, okay, what's something that every other movie does? Let's take that away. How can I make this work? That's ah yeah. I'm gonna have to try and see if my brain can cook up something this year.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Look forward to seeing it.
Hmm. You know, just still in the uh, script pre-script
Pre-production.
phase, yeah,
Yeah.
pre-concept phase.
Concept.
Still in the wishful thinking phase. All
Well, is
right.
there anything else you wanted to touch on this movie? I think we've kind of covered
Yeah,
most of our bases.
I've fully expressed how I feel about this movie, and this is awesome, and I would watch it again.
All right, let's re-roll. Here we go. No, just kidding.
Yeah, yeah. Next time, you pick out a short film and we'll do a reversal. I haven't watched it, but you've watched it, and you pick something that you think would like that blew your mind or would blow my mind. Like, oh
Okay.
wow, a small indie crew did this.
I don't watch as many short films, so I'm gonna have to do some
Mhm.
some looking there, Dorin.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, like I said, I don't watch. I don't know how this got recommended to me. It just did to my videographer channel. It's a keyword probably that got attached to
Okay.
videography. But the fact that they're really short makes it a bit easier to look at, and if you target immediately the award-winning stuff, you know it's stuff that's good and not like,
Fair.
"Oh, hey guys, I make short film." Tommy
Yeah,
Wiseau.
Tommy boy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to clap back at you with a short film of my own that I find that you haven't read or you haven't watched. A short.
That I
We'll do
haven't
a short story.
preconceived.
Yeah.
Alright,
Cool. Cool.
sweet. Well, then I look forward to our next episode. Thank you very much for watching. I don't think anyone listened, but if you did, brave soul you are, thank you very much. And hopefully next time you have something better to listen to from us.
Yeah. Send us any short films that you'd recommend that maybe both of us haven't watched, but at least one of us should watch it to see if it's worth talking about.
Hmm.
So I'll do the watching, and then if I think it's noteworthy, then we can share it with Doran and pick his brain. But yeah, thanks for watching this with us, Curve. And yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. So be sure to subscribe to not miss an episode of the Nate and Doran podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever you use to listen to podcasts. This has been Nate and Doran. Thank you for watching and listening. You shouldn't have listened to this.
Bye.